data science in mechatronics. I'm not as familiar in that field as well, but I think to your point, there's definitely opportunity to use data science depending on the domain expertise as well. All right, let's see. About processing time, how many register had that data set? I don't quite understand that question from 𝘎𝙩𝙤.
I think he's probably asking you about the PS5 data set that you used. So probably he's asking how many rows and columns you had in that, approximately some numbers.
Sure, let me just pull up the exploratory data analysis.
It's a 390 rows. It's a small data set. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was a pretty small data set.
Mm-hmm.
But I think you also have the facility to use cloud, and based on the size of the data or the processing, it can spin up a larger cluster or GPU to process larger volume of data as well, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
We had data sets of even 10 million rows for the production models. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then there's a question, so we'll be able to customize it as well. So if I can interpret the question, depending on the problem that you're trying to solve, you can pull in different features or different pieces of information that you're collecting and customize the model to help solve the problem. In coming years, can this tool replace data scientists? This is a common question, whether it be for AI or automation, right? Okay, if we bring in automation, do we lose the workers? In fact, no. What we see is it allows individuals to work on higher value add tasks rather than having to kind of just look at a piece of paper and then type it into an Excel sheet. Okay, now we can scan it and it automatically turns it into a digital format, right? So that won't necessarily make that individual be replaced, but now they can upskill and reskill and go into new fields. So I don't think data scientists are going anywhere soon.
Thanks so much, Andrew. Yeah. I think I was feeling very scared after seeing the question, and your answer consoled me. So thank you very much for your kind answer. But yeah, I think that is a question I think we human beings always have. I think when in early 1800 we had the Industrial Revolution 1.0. And that is the time, I think we're not working with the machines just today, right? That is the time when machines started taking over, right? So even from creating cars to creating clothes to creating soaps, for all kind of application, we started using machines. And factories are nothing but, a place where machines are, are automating and creating things. So even at that time, I think people had this worry that if machines create all these things which humans used to create with hand, what will happen? Where will we go? But fact is that we have seen that has actually helped us improve our lifestyle. We can now afford clothing, food, and other things which at one point of time only kings and queens of the world could afford, right? So definitely automation and machines have helped us a lot. And I think same will happen with AI, ML, data science. But yes, with the same thing, if people don't upgrade, they don't learn new skill, right? So I'm sure data science will be there, data scientists will be there, but the kind of skill they'll need, kind of problems they'll solve, that will evolve, right? So probably 10 years back, if you could just get 100 rows of data and create a very simple Python program copied from Google, that was enough for data science. But that is not true today, right? So as Andrew rightly pointed out, there will be tasks where you need more customization, you need personalization, you need more advanced algorithm, or you need to create the algorithm from scratch, right? So where automation will happen, where it is more standardized, you have the data in the standard format, this is a classification or a regression problem, and that is when you can use a tool like Newton to solve it. But if I tell you, hey, I have a platform where I have a lot of content and I want to recommend content to you, So what model can you use, right? So it's not a standard problem to be solved, right? Or if you want to just monitor some place to find some anomaly detection, or you want to do some, fraud detection. So there are a lot of problems, so it is not very straightforward. It depends on the domain, it depends on the features. Sometimes you have to develop original algorithms, and that is when I think data scientists will become more valuable. But for a lot of other use cases which are very standardized, I think a lot of automation will happen, and that is definitely most welcome.
Awesome. Great. Yeah, I mean, I love that historical reference and all of the different, industrial revolutions that we're going through and digital revolutions. Very interesting. Next one, how ML is used in mechanical industries. Is machine learning and data science useful in getting jobs in companies working on autonomous vehicles?
Definitely. I think self-driving car is probably one of the most exciting field. I think Google has done a lot of work there, Uber has done, and now I think even traditional players like GM and also have a division where I think GM is coming up with GM Cruise in some of the US cities, and Tesla also has a lot of autopilot and self-driving feature being implemented. I saw some car company in Middle East and China, they're also having flying self-driving taxis or cars. I don't know what do you call them, but very exciting. And a lot of data science and AML goes into the picture from the time of capturing the image data, processing the image data, then taking the decision whether the car should move left or right. There is also very interesting application of reinforcement learning, where the car learns on its own where to go, whether to go left, right, whether to accelerate or press the brake and all of that. And definitely, I think it will take some more time. However, we will see at some point of time, maybe after 5, 10, 20 years, self-driving car. And definitely that's a very exciting field for data science. And definitely one person asked AI/ML, is it a good field for career? I think Andrew, you are in San Francisco, you know very well how the situation is. I think now the demand is surpassing the supply, right? There's huge demand for data science talent, and there is a crunch of talent, good talent, right? And to quote some numbers, I think Glassdoor does a survey every year that which are the best roles, especially in US, since a lot of data about US is available. So from 2016 to 19 or 20, data scientist was ranked the #1 job in US with an average salary of $120,000 US, right? So that's a good amount. And I think even now it is one of the top 3 or top 5. So definitely data science, AI/ML are the top skills and probably the best skills for job market. So definitely do consider it. If you have the skills or if you can develop those skills, I think you'll have a brilliant career there.
Yep. And then, yeah, thank you for that. So rate analysis is construction cost estimate. So yeah, absolutely. That's actually one of the use cases that we're working on with our customers. Hey, we've got, the images from the building that we want to create. And then we have all of the historical data of the different vendors that we've used to build out different types of projects. It could be all kinds of different construction pieces, whether it's buildings or bridges or roads. So you can take that historical data and build out those predictions for sure. And then we have a question from LinkedIn: how to choose a platform for data science. Currently, I'm in digital marketing field, and I'm thinking I'd want to grow my knowledge in data science. So what would you suggest for beginners in data science? Definitely you can check out Newton, but I'm sure you also have some other platforms you had mentioned, H2O, Google as well. But yeah, I mean, Newton is very easy to use. So if you're looking at digital marketing and you want to do looking at like next best offer or different things like that, definitely explore the platform, reach out to us. We can help you get started as well. And then also there's the different platforms you had mentioned for learning, like Coursera and things like that as well. So or YouTube, there's lots of free options available out there to get started. Let's see.
So I think there is a question on skills. So we have discussed in detail. I'll not again discuss in detail, but I'll briefly repeat the main points. So there are 3 core skills, or more hard skills that you need to learn. Mathematics and statistics, number 1, computer programming, number 2, and within computer programming, if you are a beginner, please learn Python or R, right? And number 3 is the business or domain knowledge. And other than that, as Andrew and I discussed, there are some soft skills which are also very useful. They are communication, problem solving, and continuous learning. So these are the broadly skill set, but within that, mathematics, statistics, and computer programming are considered to be the most important skill set for a data scientist role in the industry.
Sure. We have one individual coming from the insurance domain looking for a transition to data science. So what would we suggest as a guide for those aspiring data scientists? I think that's the theme today, right?
Yeah. So I think if you are from insurance domain, it is good, right? Because as we mentioned, and Andrew also mentioned, that you have a lot of domain knowledge in insurance and in your industry, right? So that is going to be extremely critical, because I will not know, what are the business use cases in insurance, or what are the different important variables. You will probably have better knowledge than us. So definitely capitalize on your business or domain knowledge. That is your strength. But you need to have the other skills which are also required. So if you don't know computer programming, please go learn Python. If you should get some knowledge on mathematics and statistics, especially as I mentioned, descriptive, inferential statistics, and probability theory. So these are like must have. Without that, if you are going to data science, you will become like a doctor who is like, of course, degree is not important, but if the doctor doesn't know how to do surgery and don't know any of the tools, and they try to go and do the surgery, you can understand what will be the consequences. So these are some very basic tools, like a computer programming language like Python, and basic of statistics. So please learn those, use your domain knowledge as your strength, and then try to get a project probably within your own company where they are looking for someone to do some data science work for your own use case, right? And say, hey, I learned Python, I have learned statistics, I know insurance, let me do this project. That will be a very good starting point. And once you have done that, probably if you are looking out, you can use those project example and experience also to apply outside.
Yeah, it's all about the business use case and applying it to a problem to show that you've done that, right? Just knowing Python's not going to do a lot for you. You're being able to show that you've applied it even with your own personal experience. So thanks for that. So yeah, from Soham Sharma, one of our great friends over from Zipline, who helped us with our 2-week kind of data science boot camp. What are all the skills necessary to be a data science expert? I think you showcased those from the mathematical skills, the soft skills, and the tools. So I think we're covered on that one. Is it possible to become a data science without good knowledge of business, in particular having hard and soft skills? Is it enough to begin working?
So definitely, yeah, please, Andrew, go ahead.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'll also let you answer as well. I mean, we have to start somewhere, right? I mean, we can go through our education. Once we've done that, we kind of jump out and we don't really know. There's definitely accelerators and things that you can do while you're in school to be able to get real world opportunities. One of the partners we have, Silicon Valley for You, they help students get internships while they're in school and learn extracurricular activities to get those internships. So, it can help, but, when, we're just jumping into it, that's where you're going to start learning, when you start, depending on what industry you're interested in, depending on what, business line that you're going into. So, I mean, it's not necessary, but it definitely helps if you have some things, under your belt, for sure. But I would love to hear, your perspective as well.
No, completely. I completely agree with you on this point. So I think when you study things in school or college, that definitely helps, right? So I did my MBA in marketing, so that definitely gave me some knowledge of marketing. But as we mentioned, especially on the business and domain knowledge front, practical experience teaches you a lot, which a classroom or textbook cannot teach. So I also did not believe it at one point of time when I was doing my PhD. I thought I've read all the books and the research papers and journals and publications. So I thought I know everything, but no, that's not the case. Once you work in the industry, you learn much more. So definitely having some knowledge will help. But even if you don't have all the knowledge of business or domain, it's okay. As Andrew mentioned, that you please go, jump in, try to get that experience. And to accelerate it, as he mentioned, you can choose some accelerator, or alternatively, you can do some project, or you can do some internship, right? In the area of industry or domain that interests you, please do some project or internship. That will definitely help you.
All right, so we have data science intern at Sparks Foundation, how to get employment opportunities as a fresher in the field of data science, analytics, ML. I think we covered that as well.
Yeah.
Like any software developer, have a design architecture for themselves. So is there any design pattern or folder structure should follow as a beginner data scientist, so we can make our model building and validate part faster as soon as possible? We will make our system in production mode. Yeah, I mean, it's the way you prepare your data is important, right? Of course, with Newton, having your data in structured format is extremely important and can help. You can have missing values, and we do some data pre-processing and things like that. But you know, in reality, in the world of data, nothing is as clean and clear as we hope it is as an Excel sheet, right? So maybe if you just want to elaborate a little bit on your experience on kind of working with data, that would be great, I think.
Definitely, I think one statistic that I should mention is that when you're getting into data science, most of the courses will teach you just, you know, building the model and creating, you know, deep learning network, etc. But in my practical experience, most of the time, 60 to 80% time is spent on understanding the problem, gathering the data, and the cleaning the data. And like there can be all kind of, you know, things that, you know, the data is not there, data quality is not good. There might be standard things like missing data or outlier. Those are still easier to handle, but there can be things like, you know, somebody wrote a field like NA, somebody wrote not applicable, somebody just wrote in.a, and computer understands them completely differently, right? So, so it's a altogether different problem, but it takes a lot of time and effort. And to the question of Nikhil, that should he have a folder structure and organization? Yes, I think definitely being organized and having structure helps, but there is no one structure that all data scientists need to follow. But you can get some good practices from the people who are doing it best. So I recommend you. So there are GitHub profiles of top companies, right? Say from Google, Facebook, or many other companies. For many of their projects, they have GitHub repos. And in the GitHub repo, they put in the folder structure. So there may be a README file in the home. Then they'll have a data folder, probably. There is a training folder. There's a test folder, some other folder, right? So please go get some inspiration from there. But ultimately, it's up to you. How do you want to organize it? But definitely be organized. Otherwise, it will become messy after a point of time. But you can follow your own organization structure, and please be organized.
Yeah, and just one last note, I think we can close out the conversation with that being said. You know, we kind of seen that organizations are across different maturity levels, right? And when you look at maybe some of the most advanced, you know, maturity, you know, enterprises, they're even challenged on how to deal with their data governance, right? And, you know, there's definitely platforms out there addressing how to manage all of our Jupyter notebooks and all the data science work that we're doing and things like that. But just kind of from what I've seen is individually, yes, how can we become more organized, right? But then as we look to scale, what are the different tools and things that we can do to organize all of those things so that we're more effective as a team, right? So, you know, I think that's definitely something that I see as more coming in the future is, if you have a data science team of 300, right, that's a whole different story than if you're just a couple of, data analysts and data scientists too. So I'm very interested to see where that, data governance and, ML ops kind of strategies come into play too. And then lastly, we recently had another AI talent lab with data and analytics director from Microsoft, and he spent 3 years collecting data on customer satisfaction to create a model. So to that point of organization, it's always something that we can do better is collecting the data, organizing it, making sure that we can store it and use it in some ways. So thank you, Dr. 𝘿𝙧𝙚𝙚. Really appreciate all of the time and insights that you provided with us today. Thank you to all of the participants. Awesome questions today. Super stoked. It was a really, really fun session. Appreciate it.